Hi, I'm Tammy Allen, and I am so excited to share my journey back to wellness with you. I had so much pain in my body. When I hit around 50, maybe even before then, I lose track. I'm 57 now. I began getting all kinds of different symptoms, and one of the most severe was with my body, my neck, my back, my hips, my knee, my feet, my elbows, one elbow, pretty much everything had some sort of injury to it, and I was not in good shape. One day my neck and my arm literally seized up and I couldn't move. I had several times where I couldn't walk. My back just, it will just stop you. And it was due to several things. I did train heavily. I was a fitness competitor and bodybuilder 20 years ago, and I went after it very hard in my normal over-the-top way of being. And then, after that, I sat at a computer for about 10 years, and my exercise level went very down. Probably if I'd kept the exercise up, I might have been okay. But the combination of, training really hard and then doing nothing, don't do that. I don't recommend that. But anyway, I went to a chiropractor and then eventually to an orthopedic doctor who said I had arthritis, which I didn't like that. And he said, physical therapy, and he said, anti-inflammatories. And mostly I didn't like the diagnosis of arthritis because that's just an icky word. My grandma had rheumatoid arthritis and was in a wheelchair, so that wasn't really a word that I was going to receive well or accept. And I went to the physical therapist, and he said that my neck was like rebar. I had so much scar tissue that he couldn't get through it, and I had this feeling like he didn't believe that he could. And I would suggest to you, if you do not believe that somebody can heal you and you're seeing them, go to somebody else. You have the choice. You are hiring these people. So you don't want to go to a doctor or any kind of health practitioner that does not believe that you can come back, because they help you, So anyway, I continued my journey looking, and I looked on the internet. I love the internet. If you have issues, search, because somebody has had the same issue just like I have. So I found dry needling, and dry needling gets right into the trigger point. And for those of you who don't know what scar tissue and trigger points are and how they are formed, the scar tissue is formed when you get an injury. And we all have injuries, right? Even children have injuries. And when we get an injury, the body throws out silly string. It seems like silly string. That's the actual composition of, what it looks like if you were inside the body. And then it forms a web. And that web is to strengthen you so that you can do what you've got to do just to get to where you got to go and keep on going. But once that injury has healed, that scar tissue hardens, and now it clamps down and there's no blood flow. And that creates a problem in restrictive movement. And a trigger point is where two muscles are coming together, and somehow some pain, maybe scar tissue, who knows what, I don't know what really started it, but a trigger point is where the 2 points come together of your muscles and they spasm, and it sends a nerve, it goes up the nerves and into your brain, and pain. It gets the pain signal, and now it comes back down, and so it becomes this loop to the trigger point to your brain, trigger point to your brain. And so for me, it felt like just constant pain. It didn't feel like a spasm. It's like, here's this pain and it's constantly hurting. And trust me, I was hurting so bad. I had constant pain at night. I would move my neck and hear all these little cracking things, and I thought it was bone on bone. I mean, how do you know, right? You're not a doctor. And I kept asking, and let me tell you, it was hard for me to find out this information as to what was really wrong with me. I asked a lot of questions. Be sure and ask questions. If you get to the root of what is wrong with you, you can fix it. So anyway, I find this acupuncturist who also does dry needling. By the way, dry needling is also done by physical therapists. So if you want to look either for physical therapy or find an acupuncturist that is licensed to do that, highly recommend it. He was a great guy. He really knew his stuff. He was also a massage therapist. So I knew this man, had a lot of different knowledge in different modalities. So anyway, the first time that I went to him, it hurt. He found trigger points everywhere, right? I mean, I was just full of them, you know, and I was amazed, like, how do you know where those are? And he's like, that's my job. But my whole, you know, neck and shoulders, it was all bruised, but it was tender. It was the first time, you know, there was no rebar, completely soft. The tissue was soft. I was in heaven. And I thought, yay, this is it. And then, you know, of course, we go back to life and, you know, normal activities, or, you know, somewhat, and the patterns, you know, the body goes in these patterns. We go back into our repetitive actions, and now it happens again and the spasm comes back. So there's this ongoing journey that you have to retrain so those things don't happen anymore. You have to stretch it out, you have to break up the scar tissue, you have to, you know, exercise it, stretch it, you have to stay on it. And so I finally found a masseuse, a medical masseuse, and this is where my real turning point happened, because I would go and see him every week, and he really just took his time. He knew what he was doing. A sports masseuse would also be good. Either find, you know, somebody, not just a fluff and buff, as they say, but somebody that knows how to actually correct these problems, how to work out that scar tissue and those trigger points. But even still, it took me a while, and I'm also going to be really frank with you that this was a painful process, you know, and you just have to relax through it. Take Epsom salts baths, which is good for you also because it has magnesium. You know, you just be patient and stay after it, because this did take me a few years to get through everything. But as I was going to this masseuse, I recognized that after about 3 days, 2-3 days, I was getting back in pain. And that was because of the patterns. It was going back, going back. So I began doing self-massage. I began trying to do whatever he would do to me on my own. And then I began looking for different ways to do that and to really keep it going, because I was getting results like no pain, yay, you know, that's good motivation. And so I searched and I found these different tools that I would like to share with you. This is a Theracane. Now, a Theracane is a great tool. It's got these round ends, and you can hit right on a trigger point, you know, right there on your back, and just press until you feel the pain stop, and then gently let it off. Or you can use it as a massage tool. You know, you can reach anywhere. You can reach back here. You can reach your hips. You know, it's a very, very versatile, and I really like this tool. But don't go crazy with it, because you can cause more damage. If you are after it too hard, you can bruise things, and now more scar tissue happens, and now you've just prolonged your healing process. So, you know, use good judgment. Don't go crazy on it. Be gentle. You know, one of the things about a medical masseuse or the sports massage people is that they do go slow. They go deep, but they go slow. It's like they have to just, that muscle, that scar tissue just has to give it up. So be sure you're very careful with that. This looks rather silly, but what this is 2 racquetballs within a sock, and I just tied it off at the end. And this is a great tool for your back, for your neck, and you just lay on it. You roll on it. It's good for the hips. You can sit on it. You know, this is inexpensive, and this is just, you know, still one of my go-tos to just whenever I feel a little tightness in my back or my neck. I love this, and it's so easy to do and have on hand. The next thing, this is a great tool. This is the Vinci Tool, and this is really good for kind of aligning your back or really getting into hips and areas that you can't normally get to, and you just kind of lay on it and let it do, you know, let it relax onto it, you know, get some blood flow going. You know, also just use your hands, you know, just anywhere where you're feeling the pain, get some blood flow, stretch out. But this is a great tool. Also, it has different size, 3 different sides. This is great for the neck. You can just lay, you know, in that and then just stretch out that neck. You know, you can take your own fingers, you know, stretch out your neck, right? Because your neck is always compressed. The same thing with your spine. I will hold on to just about anything just to stretch out my spine, make sure that my back is straight, and just create that space. You know, get one of those things that you can hang over a door and just hang on, just to stretch out that spine, stretch out your neck. Another thing I like to do is to lean over my bed, right? And lean over the bed, hold out your neck, and just stretch it out. Get what? Relief. And then you can even, just to strengthen it, you can do little exercises like this. Turn to the side, like this is a great way to stretch and strengthen the neck at the same time. And if you are sitting at a computer, because I know we all sit at computers, we have to these days, many of us for our jobs. They say try to get up every 20 to 30 minutes, really move around, stretch out, move your neck especially, move your neck, stretch your hips back, because remember you've been sitting, so you really want to go back the other way so your body doesn't think that's how it's supposed to be, because that's literally what it's doing. Your hips think they're supposed to turn like in the sitting position, and you have to stretch them back out the other way. So just do some stretches that are literally going to make your body go back the other direction, and this will be so much help to you. You'll be amazed. One more thing, if you're sitting at the chair and it's hurting, your neck is hurting, take your fingers and just put them straight across there, and you can just reach into that area right at the base of your skull and just lean back on that. This always feels just so good on either side. Now you can't have nails for this, but I will tell you I had to give up my nails because I was doing so much self-massage, but it was definitely worth it. These are just some they are for push-ups. They are for push-ups so that you can really get down low. And I use these for my legs. I just sit on these, my hamstrings, and sometimes I'll turn it this way with this end where it's higher. And then I can hit the muscles in my inner thighs, because a lot of times it's tough to get to things by yourself. So just find different tools. I've used a wooden spoon, anything that I think is going to get in there and just safely, both break up some scar tissue, get some blood flowing, and get me some relief. I also had plantar fasciitis, and I found a guy. There's many things on plantar fasciitis that do help, but the plantar fasciitis guy was the one that really got me over the top. I did his exercises, and he's got some pretty extreme ones. I'll be sure and put a link to him on our wholelifesciences.com website, but it's the same thing. You have to break up the scar tissue. Think about it. Our feet, we're on them all the time. Ladies, you've worn heels. Athletes have been running. All that impact, scar tissue on the bottom of your feet. And so it just has to be broken up, stretched out, broken up. There's exercises you can do to strengthen it. This tool was something, you stand on it, and it is painful. And as you can see, my dog, who was a puppy at the time, really enjoyed it as well, but it's still functional. And we'll have links to all of these tools on our website at wholelifesciences.com just to make it easy for you. But definitely everything ended up healing on me. I don't have plantar fasciitis anymore. It's kind of something that you ongoingly want to make sure things stay nice and loose and the scar tissue doesn't happen. But I'm going to tell you, to be pain-free after all of that time and the time when I thought, I might be out of luck, I just, it feels like being reborn again. And while it may be painful, it may take persistence, you may have to come at it in many different ways. I encourage you to come at it, make it a priority. Do not accept less than optimum health, because it is there for you, but you probably will have to take some pretty serious action. You're going to have to, address your body. When it's in pain, it's telling you, pay attention, because if you don't have your health, what do you have in this life, right? So it is definitely worth it. I want to be sure and say, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. And I thank you for watching, and good luck on your journey. I know you are going to feel great.